This is Earth Movers
with Allison Mariella Desir, Stephanie Flippin, and Verna NezBegay Volker.
A trail podcast reclaiming the narrative. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Earth Movers, a trail podcast reclaiming the narrative. My name is Verna NezBegay Volker. I'm one of the co-hosts of this podcast, and we're going to be talking to ultrarunner Brandon Dugi. So sorry about that. But before that, I'm going to just give a shout out to our sponsor of this podcast, which is Ultra Running. We're so happy that they are our main sponsor. And if you want to know more about Ultra Running, you can go to www.ultrarunning.com. And also we have a Substack. So if you want to hear more about each of us and what we're writing about, you can find us at earthmoverspodcast.substack.com. So anyway, I'm so excited about this guest, and I've been excited for a very long time. Our guest is Brandon Dugi, who is a competitive ultra runner, landscape photographer, high school cross-country coach, and a member of the Navajo Nation living in Arizona. So welcome, Brandon, to our podcast.
Hey, Verna. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, it's always good
we've talked about this for a while, so I'm excited.
Yeah, for a while. And I've known Brandon for a while now, for a couple of years. And I think I met you at Antelope Canyon a few years ago, remember? Like 3 years ago or 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. It was about, I think, 4 years ago. And I was really excited to finally get to meet you and finally get to see what Native woman running was all about. So it was really awesome.
Yes, you've been a great support. So, Brandon, do you mind telling us a little bit about your background, where you grew up, and what your childhood looked like?
Yeah. So I grew up on the Navajo reservation right up there in kind of right outside of Page, Arizona, a small community called LeChee. And that's where my mom is from, and that's where I spent most of my childhood days. I did split time between the LeChee area and an area outside of the Grand Canyon, like the eastern side. That's where my dad is from. It's a really remote area where he grew up, and that's where I got to learn a lot of my Navajo teachings and really got to understand what it was truly like to grow up on the reservation. Around the time of me growing up, it was like people were not living out remotely like they used to. So my parents, they really instilled, what it was like growing up on the reservation, and they wanted to make sure that me and my siblings knew what it was like and to learn how to live both lives and to never forget, where I was from, where my ancestors were from. So yeah, but I grew up, went to school out in Page High School, and fell in love with running, just with the cross country team. I didn't run cross country in high school, but
you didn't. I thought you did.
No. So I was actually, I was around the Page High School team. Like I had really good friends that I grew up with throughout high school that were really competitive at running. And Page High School, you look them up, they're pretty big. They're running. They have multiple state titles, and they're constantly doing really well. So the running started there for me. I didn't, again, compete in high school, but out of high school, I did find the trail running, the shorter distance. I really enjoyed, and and then from there, like the cross country started for me, with coaching, and then the rest is history. So.
Yeah, I always assumed that you were running for Page, like in high school.
No, but like I said, I was around the good runners, so in that way, it looked like I may have ran for the team, but I didn't. Looking back now, I really wish I did. I'm like, man, in high school, my sport was soccer. I love playing soccer. And so I just, looking back, I'm like, man, I should have ran, because that definitely would have kind of changed things up a bit. So.
Yeah, for sure. So So when was the actual time that you actually started running? Like, were you still in high school, or were you like a little bit out of high school then when you started running?
I was a little bit out of high school, yeah.
Mhm.
I think a big motivator for me to start running and to really just be active and to be moving was right out of high school, I got really into photography, and that's where
Mhm.
the photography journey started for me. I took a few classes in high school, and that really kind of helped um, push me into the direction I wanted to go. And I fell in love with the camera. I started to travel when I graduated high school, and I wanted to see what else was out there. But I did notice that there were a lot of people that were coming to where I'm from, coming
Mhm.
out to the Southwest to experience what the Southwest is like, and the Southwest is beautiful, and
Right. Mhm.
I'm like, I need to go back and spend more time there and really capture the beauty of the Southwest. And for me, that's where the photography started. And then
Mhm.
I saw myself going on these big adventures, these big photo shoots, you would say. And one of the things that I didn't want to hold me back was, my ability to make it to these places. A lot of these
Yeah.
places that I like going to are pretty remote and they're pretty out there. So uh,
Right.
I found that being active and running often helped with that. It helped get me to those locations so that when
Mhm.
I'm at those locations, I'm at my best. I'm thinking right, and I know that you know I can capture a perfect image. So yeah, the trail running kind of started there, and
So,
it really took off because I ran when I was younger. Getting out the door in the
yeah.
morning and moving the body, but I didn't really uh, get competitive until after high school when I
Oh.
started signing up and seeing that I was pretty decent at it, and I'm like, you know what, I think it would be cool to, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of put more time into the running and see what I can do. So
That's awesome. We talk about you being Navajo Dene, and can you share with like our listeners what it means? How for Navajo people and the story of what running, how that connects with running. Can you share that with our listeners?
yeah, yeah. So like many Navajo, we grew up with our ancestors, telling us that, we have to get up in the morning and we have to greet the sun, greet the creator, and be out and be moving and say our prayers and run to the east. That was a big teaching that I was taught growing up, and I'm sure a lot of other Navajos growing up on the reservation were taught that as well. And it's, something that I did while I was out, in my younger days. I would, wake up my Nully lady, which was my dad's mom.
Mhm.
She was really big at waking up early in the morning and saying her prayers. And one of the things that I always remember from her is, she would have the door open, wide
Mhm.
open, even if
Yeah.
it's cold outside, and she would just have her little chair right outside the door, and she would be praying for at
Mhm.
least at least an hour or two. Like I've seen her prayers go over an hour, and it's amazing because
Mhm.
she's praying for all of the small things in life, from the
Yeah.
air to the birds to the plants to the wind. She's praying for
Mhm.
everything, and she's always looking out to the east. And I was kind of where I started to see that this is important to be up in the morning and to be up praying and to run to the east. So
Yeah.
you know I was told to do that. When I was
Yeah.
always out at sheep camp, it was something that we had to do every morning. And if you didn't do that, she was on your case, getting after you.
Like,
Um,
Dana, wake up.
yeah, yeah. And at first, I'm like, man, why is she waking me up? Like, this is too early and it's too cold
Mhm.
outside. But the more that I did it, I started to see the true meaning behind
Right.
why we do this. it's like everything, you start something and you're like, why am I doing this? Why am
Yeah,
I'm not seeing anything. But that's just the first few steps. And then, once you get the routine down, then you start to see change. That's when you start to see, things be different. And,
right,
with me, I started to see that my days were better. Just like anybody who gets up in the morning and gets moving, your day feels really good.
yeah,
You feel fresh and you feel ready to go. And, I started to see that was the big thing for me. And, I saw that it made me tough. It made me strong, as a person. And, I carried myself better while I did that. So
right. So I know, like in the first time I think I actually heard about you was when you did the video time for Hajon
yeah,
with Hoka in 2020, and I just remember watching that video and thinking, oh my goodness, like um, it was such an amazing story of your own journey, but just the beginning of it when you talk about your family, how you were raised, and the beauty of it. So I'm really curious. I don't think I've ever like heard like how did you connect with Hoka during that time? Did they just like approach you, or like were you just running and you met someone? I know you know Jim Wal. What is Jim Walmsley? Is that is
yeah,
how you say his name? Like I know you know him, and he's part of. Is he part of Hoka? He is.
he
So
is.
I
Yeah.
just wondered like how you were able to get this beautiful film. Uh, yeah,
Yeah. So it all started back with I will say Jim Walmsley.
Wim's Walmsley.
He was somebody I looked up to, and I've known and you know uh, seen that he's from Arizona. He's from Flagstaff. And I was like, man, like
Yeah.
I go to Flagstaff all the time. I run out there. Like that's pretty
Mhm.
cool that he's from there. And then seeing that he spends a lot of time in the Grand Canyon training, was like, man, like it's
So
all
cool.
right there
Right.
in my backyard. Like I think that's really awesome, and I think that somebody who really dedicates their time to this craft is like they can do it. So that really inspired and motivated me. And seeing the shoes he was running in, I was like, man, that's these are some cool shoes. And I remember getting my first pair of Hokas, and I fell in love. And then from there it kind of just catapulted to seeing what I can do with my story,
Mhm.
and growing up and living on the reservation, that's something big and that's something different.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who get into running because they want to be healthy, and they want to stay healthy, which is really good. But how we as natives, as Navajos, how we get into running, it comes from a little different background. And I
Yeah.
wanted to share that side. And yeah, I started posting a lot of my stuff on social media, and
Mhm.
tagging Hoka, and really uh showing and sharing my story. And seeing that you, Verna, when you were connected with Hoka, I was like, oh man, that's really cool that you know there's somebody that's native that is
Right.
out there doing this and already has connections. And you, along with Jim and all of these other amazing people,
Mhm.
Sam Welch, they really
Yeah.
helped me get to where I am today with Hoka. And I
Yeah.
appreciate all of you guys for doing that, and helping me get my story out there. And it's not done. There's still
Yeah, for sure.
tons of people that don't know the story behind running, and how it impacts people
Yeah.
through the Navajo way. So
Yeah, for sure. So growing up on the reservation, do you feel like you had role models who kind of helped you um, just kind of there in the community?
yeah, I had a lot of relatives that actually were really good runners, still are good runners. They're a little older
Oh, they
now.
are.
Yeah. So I get a good amount of people that I've kind of been surrounded by, that have done amazing things. They've ran like the big majors
Mhm.
in the marathon. And just seeing how you know h- how they kind of went all in on running, and where it's taking them, has like really motivated me to
Yeah.
be. to be like them. So
So is Sean Martin one of them? Sean Martin go
yeah,
to page? Yes.
yeah. So the Martin boys,
Yeah.
the Martin family, they're really awesome. Tim and Theo Martin, they're twins, and their
Okay.
brother Sean Martin as well, their younger brother.
Okay.
They were outstanding runners. They went to Page High School, and then went on to running collegiately at NAU and doing really well there. And then transferring that over to road racing in the marathon, competing, and
Hmm.
then competing in the Olympic trials back in 2000. They were
Wow.
really really good runners, and to me, seeing that like really inspired me because it's they grew up in the community I grew up in. They grew up in
Right.
LeChee.
Hmm.
Their dad was really strict in teaching them the way of living traditionally as a Navajo, and
Hmm.
then practicing that as they were young boys. So seeing that and seeing and hearing all their stories, it's always awesome, and it
Yeah.
always it pumps me up every time. Like uh, Tim Martin and Theo,
Hmm.
they're in Page still, and Tim, he's the head coach at Page, and
Okay.
I help assist. But every time I'm with him, we always get into the stories. He'll
Hmm.
bring up stories of the past, and I'm just sitting there like, dang, that's so cool. Like it's
Right.
awesome. Hearing like how they didn't have all these cool stuff we have now, and how they wish that if they had like the super shoes and the nutrition
Right.
dialed like we do, like man, we could probably run so much faster. And
Right.
it's so cool. It's so cool.
So Sean Martin actually messaged me this week or last week on Facebook, and I was joking with him because after that I called him, and it was like, oh my gosh, I'm like talking to a celebrity.
Yeah,
So he was like super nice. So, and I know he also hosts that really popular race, the 55K, at
yeah,
Canyon de Chelly, and it's like a lottery, and it's people want to, they, really want to run that race. So it's a really cool race that he does. And
yeah.
what?
I ran that just this past year.
Oh, you did?
I
I heard it
did.
was rainy. Wasn't it rainy?
So rainy. Yeah, they had to change the course a little, so we weren't able to do the full 16 out and back, but
Okay.
we were still able to do the full 55K. It was more
Okay.
of like I think it was like 8 miles, and
Uh-huh.
then we go back, and then we go back. If you want to go back, you go back in again,
Okay.
and then go back. But it was really rainy, but it was awesome. I feel like doing that race with the conditions we had made it more special.
Hmm.
Just because there's not a lot of people that one get to go into the canyon in general.
Right.
But to be in the canyon while it's raining and while there's fog and while there's like
Yeah.
all the wildlife is out, it's really cool.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So, you talk about your coach at Page, right? So, tell us a little bit more about that and how you feel like you're impacting these younger people.
Yeah, yeah. So I started coaching when I was I'd say early 2000, like the 2000 and I think 19 is when I
Okay.
started helping out. And you know it this is kind of around the time where I was really trying to get my story out.
Hmm.
I guess not my story, but the story of how it is to live on the reservation and how it is um, to to do the teachings that we were taught when we were
Hmm.
younger, and how it changes your life.
All right.
Um, and that really made me want to do more in the community, and I knew I want kids to experience the things that I'm experiencing, and I want them to do the things that I'm doing. And doing that is through running and having that be a part of your life. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, there was a chance for me to be a part of the Page High School team. The Theo Martin at the time, he was the head
Hmm.
coach and he needed help. So I decided to step on in, and it was just cool. It was cool because I got to see and learn more about running through
Right.
the Martin brothers, and then to see how they are with the kids, and to see how
Mm-hmm.
they are just really good coaches. You know, it really inspired me to want to be like them.
Yeah.
They were really good runners, and then now they're giving back to the community with coaching, and that
Mm-hmm.
helped me. Um, it kind of like pointed me in the right direction of where I wanted to go, and you know, I wished and dreamed to be like them when I grew
Oh,
up,
yeah.
kind
And
of a thing.
you're currently doing that still, right? Still coaching?
I, I am, yeah, yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to come back here shortly with our interview with Brandon. But again, we want to just give a shout out to Ultra Running. Ultra Running, we're just so appreciative of their sponsorship for our podcast and just sharing these stories that are often overlooked in our communities. And so we just want to give them a shout out to Ultra. And if you want to learn more about Ultra, you can go to www.ultrarunning.com. So yes. So Brandon, I want to shift gear now to you last year when you went to Western States. And so I was following along. It was just so amazing. And what drew you to that race, and like what were your goals running it? So yeah, tell us about that, about Western States.
yeah. So Western States has been something that I've always wanted to do. Like when I first heard about ultra running, Western States was like the race. Like it's something that I told myself I want to be there one day. I want to be on that course one day running it. And seeing like all the greats run
Mm-hmm.
in ultra running, they have to run Western States, and then when they finish, it's just amazing. So, uh, I heard about the race back in like 2017.
Hmm.
Actually, no, a little earlier than that, 16. So, and this all goes back to like Jim Walmsley,
Yeah, yeah,
hearing his story of how he first got into Western States in 2016, and then all those years after that, uh, that's what I wanted. I wanted a piece of Western States. I wanted a piece of just the ultra running world. So,
right.
you know, at the time, I went out to Western States in 2017, and then in 18 again to really like see what these races are all about.
Right.
And like I told myself when I get to Western States, I want to know what this race is about, and not me just going there and being very new to it and not knowing the ins and outs of it. So I did my homework and my research on the
Hmm.
race, and really got to be a part of the community. So I helped out in crewing for different people. I paced one of my good friends, Hella Sidibe.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Um, so he got to run Western States, and I was a part of his crew, and I helped pace him for some miles. And then yeah, and then I crewed for Hayden Hawks when he took second at Western States. And then I
Wow.
helped Jared Hazen when he was with Hoka. He took second at Western States. And then I got to help out with Jim Walmsley as well at some of the aid stations, and really got to be there. And yeah, I think after, experiencing all of that with crewing and pacing and working at Western States, it was I felt like I was ready. And the next steps were getting to Western States
Hmm.
and running it, and we did. We got to go there, and it was really awesome that we got to take the high school cross country team, Page High
Yes.
School. We took some of the kids out, and they got to experience what trail running was all about. Um, but yeah, it was amazing. The race itself is just it's beautiful, it's hard, it's painful.
Yeah.
It has everything in it, and you truly do learn a lot about yourself when you're out running that course, because you're going through the high country, you're going through snow, you're going through the rivers, and then it gets very hot, and then it gets cold, and then you're into rivers again. So
Hmm.
it's a constant battle with the elements, but a battle with yourself and trying to get to the finish line. And having the kids there really helped me. Uh, yeah,
Yeah, I
the,
was I was reading the article about how it went. And there was a part where you shared where you literally you took off your sock and it
Yeah,
was just like just flesh and you didn't tell anybody, right? And
yeah,
then and
yeah,
you just like you were just so determined. I was just like, that must have been so painful.
yeah. So I made a mistake early on. I had two pairs of shoes that literally looked the same, like they are the same shoe, same
Okay.
color. One was just had more miles and
Mhm.
had a different sole that I put, and
Mhm.
that was supposed to be my race shoe. And then the other was just like a backup.
Okay.
And I ended up putting the backup shoe on, and the backup shoe is like a straight out of the box shoe, like
Oh my
no
gosh.
miles, no. And I felt good, in the high country, felt really nice. But I noticed when the feet were getting wet, like my feet were moving around too much in it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, and there's a lot of downhill in that race,
Uh-huh.
and I I knew at like mile 25, I was like, all right, like there's something going on with my foot, but I kept just telling myself like this is really early. I'm just gonna put it
Right.
behind me and just keep going. And I did.
Mhm.
I kept going. Once I got to mile 30 and I saw my crew, I was like I whispered to my crew and I'm like, there's I'm having some foot issues, but I'm okay. Like I'm
Yeah.
okay. I don't want to look at it. And then I think I got to like mile 39 and I made the decision to change my socks because I knew I needed to. So I took
Right.
the shoe off and then I, I had the right pair of shoe that I was supposed to wear at
Mhm.
that aid station. So I was like, I'm gonna just change everything out. And when I was changing my sock, I didn't tell my second crew. I was taking my sock off, and when I pulled my sock off, like they didn't know what was coming, and then they saw like the meat just
Oh
start to
my
come off,
gosh.
and then like I like tried to hurry up and like put
Yeah.
the new sock on, and then they kind of just looked at me like I
Right.
didn't want them to see it, but they were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good." I put the new shoe on, and then I just took off,
Oh my
and then
gosh.
they were like, they were worried. And there's this from mile 39 to mile 50. You hit the steepest downhills of the course, and then the steepest
Mhm.
uphills of the course. And in that time, I that's when I really started to experience the foot really hurting. Uh, and then when I got to mile 50, that's when I was like, all right, like I want to get this looked at by an actual like foot doctor. And
Or maybe
luckily, like from what the people were saying, they said that the aid station people were saying like one of the best foot doctors that are good at taping were at mile 50. So I was like, all
oh,
right,
that's
I just
nice.
gotta get there and they can take care of me. And yeah, they took care of me, and they were like, those people there that work at those aid stations are so amazing. Like
Right.
they will not let you quit. Like there was no quit. I didn't want to quit, but they're
Right.
like, we're gonna patch you up and we're gonna get you going and you're gonna crush this. And you're just like, even if you're at a point where you're like, I can't do this,
Right.
they're gonna be like, we'll walk with you to the finish if we have to. Like you're gonna do this. Like
Ah,
there's no doubt that they don't want you to
right.
finish. So yeah, the foot doctor patched me up really well and got me on my way, and I felt good after that. Like
Okay.
it kind of went away, and then yeah, just at the bigger aid stations, seeing the high school kids, seeing
Yeah.
them there, and then seeing my family uh, there at the aid stations really helped me a lot, and
Right.
really pushed me to want to finish and get to the finish line. So
Oh, your parents, they're just so great. You have such great parents because I've met your parents and they're so just kind and I could just tell like because I was there when you ran Javelina 100K, right,
yeah,
in 2024?
24,
And
yeah.
yeah, and that was really cool just to like see them on the side and get to know them. But also what I thought was really cool that I want to share with the listeners is, all these races, these big ultra races, we see the same type of people on the podium at the end, first place, second place, third place. And it was so cool to see you there um on that podium. Like, and we were all there and we're just like, yes, because that we just really feel and you probably feel the same way, how much representation matters so much, like in this sport. And so I think it was just really cool to like witness that. Um, but going back to Western states, you talk a lot about just your high school, the kids that you coach. You know, tell me a little bit more about like on that day and how what stays with you, particularly at like Western states.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of you know, to me the important thing is to see what these kids do after high school. That's an important thing to me.
Right.
I want them to get an education, but I also want them to find joy in life in
Mm-hmm.
running, not just treating this as like a sport that you do in high school and you're done and over with it. I
Right.
feel like for these kids, they can do so much in running, and it's so
Mm-hmm.
awesome to see that trail running, it's taking off and
Yeah.
where it's going. Like there's possibility and there's opportunities in trail running now, and I feel like 5 years down the road, it's just gonna skyrocket and be
Right.
a really big thing, like it already is right now. So one thing that really wanted me to have them there was for them to experience what I experienced.
Mm-hmm.
When I was the only one trying to figure this ultra running thing out. I would go to these big races, and I would be the only Navajo there, the only
Right.
brown skin, if you were to say. And like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people that would look at me weird and just kind of I would just feel so out of place. But I kept telling myself like I just got to stick this out. I got to be a part of this, and I can't be afraid. And you know,
Mm-hmm.
seeing how like I was able to get through that and kind of you know really put my foot into the door with this trail running. There's been a lot of amazing opportunities that have happened, and I'm
Right.
grateful for it. I've got to see a little bit of the world through running,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want from me just the experience that I want to, have other kids that, come from the community I come from or come from, the same area on the reservation I come from to experience that also. But
Yeah.
it's not only just those kids, I want other kids that see this podcast, that
Mm.
see the
Right.
videos, that see the races that I do. I want them to see that they could make it. They could be out
Mm-hmm.
here too doing this. It just takes those small baby steps, those small big life um, teachings.
Yeah.
Waking up in the morning, saying your prayers, getting out the door. Um, those little things take you a long way if you stay consistent with it. So.
Yeah. For sure. I want to focus on the finish line at Western States, and I think that was pretty powerful. Can you share about that?
Yeah. So it's crazy. On my watch, I have my data screen, and then I moved it over halfway through the race, and I kind of forgot, but I moved it over to split times only. And with split times, it's a lot different than like it shows the overall time.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason on my watch, it was showing different. And when I had like, I think it was the last aid station at mile 93 or 94, I was like looking at my split times and I was wanting to just like get under, I think it was 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But on my watch, I'm like, oh crap, like I don't know if I can make it. And like trying to do calculations in my head while like kind of hallucinating a bit. I'm like, oh
Right.
man, this is crazy. Like, I don't, like, I kept telling my brother, my little brother
Yeah.
Tanner, because he paced me at the last. He paced me for I think he paced me for like 17 miles, and
Mm-hmm.
then um I had my girlfriend Callie,
Yeah.
her uncle Trent, he paced me for a section, and then Tanner paced me for the last section. So
Okay.
I kept telling Tanner, I'm like, is this right? And he's like, yeah, but he was saying I could make it, and I'm like looking, and on my watch, I don't know if it was my watch or if it was me, but I'm like,
Yeah, hallucinating.
I'm not gonna make this. I'm gonna have to run like a sub 7 minute mile for 3 miles to even make this. And I'm like, and then a part of me is just like, I'm done. Like I
Hmm.
tried, I'm making it to the finish line, but I don't think I can make it under 24 hours. Like it's just not gonna happen. And I kept telling him that, and he kept saying like, no, you can do it. And I'm like, are you just saying this just to get me moving, or can I
Right.
really do this? And yeah, once we made our way up to Roby Point, which is like the last few miles, you climb up to the top of this like really steep climb get onto the pavement, and you hit Roby Point, and I'm power running up this thing, and I hear just from the distance, just these kids like
Oh,
running down, and they met me at Roby Point,
uh-huh.
and they were just like yelling my name, and I was just like, holy crap. Like
Oh,
it just gave me
is it chill?
chills.
I have
Like,
chills now.
yeah, just thinking about it again. And they were just like,
Yeah.
Brandon, like you're gonna do it. And they were just like, holy crap, I can't believe you're here. Like, this is insane. Um, and they ran with me they ran with me that last mile to the finish. And
Mm.
it was amazing. It was so cool to see, and so cool for them to experience this, to see me at the start and to see me at the finish, and to see what I went through, which
Wow.
is incredible. And when we got onto the track, we all ran together. It was just it's a memory that will stick with me forever, an important, special one to me.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, and I just love seeing those pictures of them, and you have your, like, Navajo flag, like, that was just, like, really powerful, and I think often a lot of our people are just people in the trail community. I mean, I never heard about Western States until I got more into trail running, and so for some people, they're like, "What is Western States?" You know? And so it's just really cool for these kids to experience that and to see you, cross that finish line. So, um, yeah, you made it under 24 hours, right? What was the actual?
yeah, yeah. So I got to the track, and I'm running, and I look at the time, and then it says like 23, I think 30 or 23:20, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. I get to the finish line, I stop my watch, and I look up, and I'm like, all right. I don't know what the heck it was. I don't know if it was my watch just motivating me to just keep pushing and giving me a wrong time or something, but yeah, it was awesome. It was cool to see that I ran under 24 hours. And the initial goal was to go out, and to run like sub 20. Like I was aiming more like 18 or 19 hours.
Wow,
And
mhm.
and I was actually on pace to do that until like mile 50, or a
Okay.
little after mile 50. Um, and yeah, it was like everything was going right until like the foot. And
Yeah.
I kind of had some nutrition, issues,
Oh, yeah,
just
you
not,
talk about that. Yeah, you were throwing up, right? You were
yeah,
throwing up and
throwing up, and just I don't think I was on top of nutrition like
mhm.
I should have been, and that's really important in a big race. And I'm still learning this running.
Yeah, mhm.
I feel like we all still learn different things about ourselves, when we do these races we sign up for. And I've gotten down my nutrition now, and it's insane just to even talk
Right.
about, like, um, you know, becoming a stronger runner. After Western States,
Mhm.
it was awesome. It was amazing, but I took time, and I really like thought about like the goal I wanted to run, and
Yeah,
it kind of put me back a little bit, um, and then it really made me think about like what I really need to do to be at the top, and
right,
to be the
mhm.
best that I can be. And then I really started to focus in on like what are the things that I struggled with at Western States. Like a big one was nutrition.
Mhm.
Another one was just time on my feet. Like I did a few 30-mile runs, but I think I needed to do more of those to really get
Right,
my
mhm.
legs strong. And I started to do that after Western States, and there's been some like major gains in fitness
Hmm.
and in strength that I've seen after Western States. Like
Yeah.
I've dialed down my nutrition, I've dialed down like my my overall like time on feet and like strength work. That's been really important. And
Hmm.
it's just seeing how, like I've kind of figured out the little mistakes that
Right.
I had at Western States have really got me itching to get back to Western States to run because I know I can run under
Yeah,
20 hours. I know I can be up there, and it's just a matter of time and getting
for
back there
sure.
and doing it all again. So
So I know you've done some photography at UTMB. Is that also kind of a goal to run there?
yeah, so
Yeah.
some of the two big races I've always wanted to do was Western States and UTMB.
Okay.
I was really um, I'm grateful to have been able to go out to UTMB.
Hmm. Yeah.
I've been out there 2 years now, and the first year was when I went out and got to help out my buddy Jim Walmsley when he
Hmm.
ran and won Western or not Western States when he won UTMB for the first time.
Wow. Hmm.
You know, I got to be there for that, and I got to be a part of that experience and to see that, and like I heard about UTMB, but not
Yeah.
until you actually go there to Chamonix and to
Yeah.
see what those mountains are really about. You're just like, holy smokes! Like
Yeah.
this is a different kind of mountain race, like for sure. Like it's no joke. So.
Awesome. So now, what are your goals for currently for the future? What do you set on right now?
So with I've been doing a few like road racing and kind of
Hmm.
like faster, shorter stuff, and I I think so. As of now, I've only done like two like official marathons,
Hmm.
and one of them was kind of just like kind of just getting to the race. Like I didn't really prep for it or anything. And this last one was at Mesa
Okay. Yeah.
Marathon here.
Hmm.
I did just recently, and I had a good block going into it, and wanted to run fast, and I did run pretty quick, and then it got my head turning. Like this marathon is pretty cool. Like it's short, but it's for an ultra. Like going from 100 miles, like
Yeah.
26 miles is it happens very quick, but it's painful too. I'm like, I think I can run faster than this time. So now I'm like, just like I think I can. So the goal is like the overall goal, the big goal it would be really cool to run like under 220, and even
Hmm.
try to get like an Olympic trials
Yeah.
qualifier. Like I know I I hang out with Hosova and
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Brandon Joe from Flagstaff.
Oh yeah. I know both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so like whenever I'm in Flagstaff and I'm running with them,
I.
they they always come together and we're like, we have 2 years to try to get to the Olympic trials qualifier. Like we can all do it. Like we should all like train
Yeah.
together and do this. And to see Hosova,
Yeah. He
get
just
his
qualified. Yeah.
qualification, it motivated me, and I know it
Yeah.
motivated Brandon. And I'm just like, dude.
Yeah.
And I remember Brandon texted me and he's like, dude, we gotta
Yeah.
start training hard. We have 2 years and I think we can do this. And I'm like, I think we can do this too.
Oh
Like so that's like a big goal. Just to say that I've ran in the trials would be amazing. Um, so that's like one of my big goals. But then also, UTMB,
yeah.
CCC, and then getting back to Western States is just the ultimate goal.
Yeah,
So
those are all good, Brett. I think you're gonna do amazing, whatever you do. So I'm like, I can't even imagine you three running together and how fast that is.
yeah,
I'll be like, wait, wait, yeah.
yeah.
So in closing, one of the questions we ask before our podcast is called Earth Movers is what does being an Earth mover mean to you?
Uh, an earth mover means being just moving. I think to me it's like moving people to do better. And like with sharing my story of how I became, the runner I am now, and sharing our beliefs as Navajo.
Mhm.
I think it can really motivate and inspire even non-natives to get out the door and to do
Right.
that, and to be better people. So I think just living those teachings is it moves us all. So
Yeah. So the idea from that name, Earth Movers, was actually from a Navajo who talked about her grandmother giving her that name of like moving through the earth. And so that's what we kind of settled on, was like that goes so much with like trail running and running, so it's really cool. Well, Brandon, this was such a great conversation. I always enjoy talking to you and just learning more about your story and just everything. So we wish you so many good things.
yeah, thank you so much for having me along, and this is awesome.
Yes. So we are going to be signing off soon, but we just want to let you know that we drop a new podcast every Thursday, and we have merch available. I think I'm wearing my sweatshirt here, and we also have a Substack at earthmoverspodcast.substack.com. And yeah, we're just very excited to always share these stories, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.